What's up, everybody? Welcome to... I don't know if... I think the intro fucked up. What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 4 of the M8s podcast. I think I said it a bit too early, that's why I stuttered. My name is Jack Valentine. I'm here, as usual, with Mr. Duncan Chalmers.
So...
What's up, how are you?
That's what the cool kids do, right?
Yeah, they walk along and...
dude. Is that the meme nowadays?
Well, the meme nowadays is Arthur. You know the cartoon Arthur?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, there's like a scene when he like clenches his fist, and it focuses like the camera at his waist, and he's like clenching his fist, and it's just I don't know, like there's ones where it's like instead of his fist, it's his sweater extended down like that, and it says, "When you want to be mad because your mum bought you a sweater that's too big," and like it's just so.
Okay.
Isn't it weird that you're in your 20s and you're already part of a generation that, like, doesn't understand things now? Like, I don't think that should happen yet.
Well, it did.
Yeah.
And it made me more hateful.
Yeah.
So how are you?
I'm good, thanks.
That's excellent.
Yeah. In case you didn't know, guys, this is our weekly podcast. We are the Game Mates. We just get together once a week, talk about what we've been playing, review some stuff, games, films, and bring you some... We'll get to that in a minute. And also bring you some news if anything happens, which sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. We also stream weekly, but this is our one kind of scheduled program that we try and bring consistently every Tuesday. What have you been doing this week?
I streamed Batman earlier. If you guys want to check that out on our Twitch.
Did you like it?
Yeah, a lot.
Cool.
It was.
You beat the first episode, right?
Yeah.
Whole
Oh
thing?
yeah. Yeah. It was the best Batman content to come out this week. For example, he was actually in it. It was really good. It felt.
Pace yourself. Pace yourself, Duncan.
Don't wear myself too thin. Batman was excellent, actually. Episode 1 really felt like it belonged, and it felt like whoever wrote it did their fucking research, and it rules. Because you play, there's some tit for tat with Selena Kyle, who may or may not know who you are, and you may or not know who she is, and it's just like got those nice like those quotes that you would expect out of people who are trying to keep a secret because somebody else is there, but wants to let on they know everything, and all your decisions matter. I shook the hand of a crime lord, and Gotham got pissed. It's pretty fun though. I will say that Telltale has always managed to get everyone's attention, everybody talking about it. This one so far seems to be the least. Maybe it's because everyone's kind of like done a lot of Telltale. I'm not seeing as much buzz about it on the internet.
I feel like there's a little Telltale fatigue at this point because, like, especially when they did, like, Wolf Among Us, Season 2 of Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, and then Tales of the Borderlands, like boom,
just
boom,
like
boom,
that.
boom, and then this one and Walking Dead Season 3 have been in the works for like ages now. We've known about them, so and I guess maybe, I mean, you know, you've been teasing our next topic a little prematurely.
That's what I do.
That's
my thing.
what I heard here. But I feel like after the superhero offerings from DC on the film side of things this year, people might have like fatigue in general in regards to Batman, just because of like Batman vs Superman being a pile of dog shit, and
It's a smaller pile of dog shit.
yeah, that's like from a poodle or a Shih Tzu, and then you've got a fucking Saint Bernard, which is Suicide Squad. We can talk about
squats would be better.
We can. Yeah. We'll get to that in like 2 minutes because we keep bringing it up, but we're gonna
it's
go.
Hard not to.
We played Abzu. I played Abzu. You played Overcooked with me.
Yeah,
and it's a lot of fun.
It was ridiculously fun.
Yeah,
it was really complex.
If you guys haven't heard of it, Overcooked is a little PS4 title. I think it's on PC as well. It might even be. It's on Xbox too, actually. And basically, it's local multiplayer. It's up to 4 people. You have to manage a kitchen together. and each one has progressively more complex roles. So things like you have to make burgers, so one person has to get the raw meat and dice it up, and then put it in the frying pan, and then get a burger and arrange all the ingredients. And it might sound stupid, but in this like co-op environment setting, it's very stressful, it's very team oriented, but it's a lot of fun. And we did a stream of that. So if you want to see some first-hand top fucking quality gameplay, head over to GameMates Twitch. It's on YouTube as well, isn't it? Maybe.
I didn't put it there.
I didn't put it there either. So it's not, yeah, don't go to YouTube. YouTube fucking sucks. Well, it doesn't, but kind of. Anyway.
This is going to get banned.
Yeah,
You said
it doesn't, but it does because our Overcooked video is not there, but I'll rectify that today, and so it won't suck anymore. So that was our like weekend stream. Then earlier last week I played Abzu, which I'd been beating the drum for a while, and it was last time we recorded, it was coming out that night. I hopped into it that night and like was so fucking tired that I was just like, oh, I don't know what it was, but I just didn't even like it. Like it just like it I couldn't there was something about it that just didn't click in my head. Like I was like, I don't know. So I went to bed, came back the next morning, just restarted. Oof, perfect. Like I beat it in like 2 hours. Solid game.
Would you have wanted it to be longer?
No. In fact, it's like length is absolutely perfect. Similar to how I felt about Journey. Like it's one of those things that a lot of people will say like, oh well, you pay like $20 for it, it's only this long. But realistically, like
Quality.
you can waste a lot of time in the little areas because you're swimming around and exploring and. I think it, like, I've read a lot of people saying, like, yeah, I think it's cool, but I think it's not great, and I had, like, some people saying, oh, I had no emotional investment, and I think it comes down to just, like, Journey is a very, I keep comparing it to Journey, really, like, the only person that's connected to the game, the two games, is the main art director, and obviously has the same soundtrack composer, Austin Wintory.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, the soundtrack in this is sensational. I did write a little bit about it, but the piece I wrote on it, the thing that sucks is it's difficult to write about the game because it ties so heavily on your own potential engagement with it. So unless you play it, you'll never really know. Like, there's no way, I wouldn't be able to say, I loved it, so you have to try this game. Like, you just might not get it. And I sound like really, I hate using that as a term. You might not get it, but it's just, yeah.
You keep clicking that.
Do I?
Yeah.
Oh. I've got backups. Sorry. I can't. Oh.
That wasn't planned.
Yeah.
That makes it even better.
Yeah. So, Abzu was very good. Good. It was good. Sort of thing that I finished. I probably won't play for like another, maybe a year. But like Journey, then I'll go back and I'll probably do a 100% get all the collectibles, go through in one run. So that was very good.
Excellent.
Moving on though to something that wasn't very good. In fact, it was very, very, very not good.
Very not good.
Suicide Squad came out on Thursday or Friday.
Friday with select theaters, being all of them probably.
Yeah.
With sneak peeks.
It's like saying, I remember a couple of years ago when it was like, oh, pre-order NBA and get it 4 or 5 days early. And it's like, well, the game's fucking out. Like, no one gives a shit if you have a pre-order or not. Like, the companies aren't going to know, so people are just selling it. Like, so stupid. Anyway.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad. You went to see it on Thursday. I went to see it on Sunday.
Yep.
It's difficult to, like, because I'm not a huge comic book person. In fact, I don't read them at all. Typically, just before the films will come out, if it's something that remotely interests me, I'll read the backstory on the comic book thing. Like when I started liking the Marvel movies, so, when Civil War was about to come out, I read on the background of Civil War and so I could kind of see the big differences, because I knew it was going to be very different. And I just, like, I recently saw Batman vs. Superman, and the level of, like, just absurdity in the film makes it like semi-enjoyable. Especially how like for me, I just like was baffled with how violent it was because it's I watched the PG-13 version too, not like the R-rated 3-hour long version, and Batman's just flying around, fucking killing people, like, and every time I say that, they're like, "Oh, but that was a dream." It's like, oh, no, it wasn't a dream when he was driving around Gotham, chasing after someone, blowing people up in the Batmobile. That wasn't a fucking dream.
No,
it was a dream when there was fucking flying things going around. He's like, he just shoots a bunch of people. That's a dream, but and Batman's dreams are fucked.
Yeah, he also shot somebody in that warehouse in the end of Batman vs Superman.
Yeah, and he violently stabbed, like, I didn't realize, but when you see the Bat brand, I always assumed it was, the throwing batarangs. For some reason, I thought it was that, like, he threw it and it, like, imprinted. But then when he goes to see Lex in the end, he fucking has, like, a cattle brand. And I was like, oh my god, it's fucked. Like, it's, anyway, that's a different film. Suicide Squad.
I should have watched Batman
Where do we even start with this film? Like, I don't, like, because that... I never have really been a defender of the DC movies, but I said to a couple of people, like, I don't know, there's something about the trailers I'm, like, digging. Like, it looks
the reason that the trailers were good is because it didn't use any content from the movie.
That's true, yeah. You can, the trailers, like, if this, obviously there's no reputable kind of thing in this universe that would ever nominate a film like that for anything. But if there was, that like Suicide Squad could be nominated for something, the trailers would probably get nominated before the fucking movie because they're like standalone 2-minute films. That there was so much stuff that like, because I like the idea of the Joker as a character. I like Jared Leto as an actor, and I was excited to see his interpretation of it. And
I don't think we did.
No, to preface this though, I don't think he's necessarily bad. He's probably the worst, but it's not like that's bad. He's a interesting take on it, but a couple of parts I found like he was just like so confused about what to do, and a lot of people say, well, that's 50% actor, 50% director. No, I think that's 100% director, because the way he acts in certain scenes in contrast to others. There was one in particular I thought he's just trying to be Heath Ledger right now, and there's one part he even came close to doing the little tongue lick thing that he did, which was a completely like off ad-lib thing that he did. A couple of parts I thought he was just trying to be Jack Nicholson, the way he would like kind of breathe and laugh, and like just the way he would say like, yeah, like I don't know, just odd.
He just didn't do it himself.
Yeah.
You know? But who do you point to for that?
I would say, like, I don't know. I mean, if he got into character himself, and then David Ayer's obviously fucking lazy enough to just be like, oh, that's fine.
Well, there's some specific sequences in the film that I was like, all right, this is decent. I'll get into it. And then, like, for Joker specifically. And then there were some that I'm just, because of all the talk of reshoots, you can just tell.
Yeah.
Like, all that stupid stuff with Harley and like the chemical vets and stuff, completely unnecessary for that film. Yeah. And it just felt forced.
Yeah.
But Jared Leto's character in that was more convincing than he was when he was in a helicopter and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So.
Quickly though, do we want to make this like a spoiler cast thing?
That's
I just don't care, because like if you're gonna watch, like, if you're one of the people that's like desperately going to go see it, you've already seen it, and you probably fucking hate it, and if you don't,
then fuck you.
Should probably go see it again and reevaluate your take on it, because it was fucking dog shit. Secondly, it's a fucking comic book movie, like, that you know beat for beat what's going to happen, so like, I don't really care. We don't have to. I can say like the end of the movie is shit without saying what happens at the end.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like, there you go. Like that, the end of the movie is shit without saying what happens at the end. But to go through things that I think are also shit, the movie tries to alienate. Beat for beat, it's trying to be like DC's Guardians of the Galaxy. It tries to set up the characters, but fails. The thing is,
miserably. It's like someone pulled the carpet out from under the entire cast and crew.
Right. Thing is, though, with this, with this, you know, they go in, and the movie starts with fucking, like, the movie, well, that's, sorry, let me rephrase that. The movie doesn't start for, like, an hour, because you've got fucking Viola Davis just sat in a restaurant talking about people.
Yeah, with poorly cut shot for shot transitions. And to have me taken out of a movie that I really wanted to go in and enjoy, regardless of what everybody said, I wanted to like it. To have me in 15 minutes be like, this sucks, that's bad.
Yeah.
I was looking for reasons to like you.
Like, also, it seems to, I think it desperately wants to have this, like, flashy style. Like, you know, with when it's introducing the characters, and, like, if I'm the character on the screen, up here would say, like, bam, like, my name, and bam, all these, like, stats appear about the character. And it's just so odd. Like, it didn't feel right as a theatre. That felt like something you'd see on, like, fucking, like a
made-for-TV movie.
Yeah, a made-for-TV movie, or, like, some cheap-end TV show. You know, like, fucking Dog the Bounty Hunter. Oh, my God. And then, so the other thing is, she goes through that, which takes forever. And but what they don't understand is a film like Guardians of the Galaxy wasn't bloated with people it was trying to introduce. And also, it understood that at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter as long as you get them to care about these characters right here and now. Where they've come from, people fucking know where Harley Quinn's from. People fucking, the guy's called Deadshot. And you say, yeah, he's the guy that never misses a shot. He's an assassin. Fuck, okay, I don't need to know anything more than that. Fucking shut up. Like, but no, let's give us a fucking, oh, look. One thing that did produce was the really cool bat swoop, as I call it, where he's walking along with his daughter, and you just see Batman just swoop down. And just the way he swoops and lands and then walks, I was like, ooh, I'm ready for a bat. Like, this makes me want to see just more Batman. And it's not even his film. Like, he shows up collectively for about 2 minutes of screen time.
Oh, don't give him that much. It was like 30 seconds.
Probably. And then the other thing, really fast car chase with, like, the Joker. And then the Batmobile swerves out for that one scene. That one shot.
I got goosebumps almost.
Yeah. And then when you hear, like, the Joker say, like, we've got company, and Harley's saying, like, Batsy, 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 like that. Like, I'm not a huge comic book person or a Batman fan, but that, I was like, sweet. Like, this is cool.
I love. Yeah.
But then, again, like, it transitions into just this weird, like, and I'm not sure, like, that's the thing, is there's no way of knowing if that's what they're going for. But the crowd that we saw it with when I went on Sunday, and this comes back to the whole reshooting it to make it more humorous or more lighthearted. When Harley's, like, unconscious underwater and he goes to get her and then wakes up and then he just fucking punches her in the face to knock her out, everyone in the audience laughed, and I was like, did you fucking laugh too? I was like,
I was the only one doing it though. It was just me.
Yeah, but
because I recognize the absurdity of it.
Yeah,
I was like, are you fucking serious?
Thinking about it now, it's just, but people, every time there was, like, any kind of violence against a woman in that movie, which there was a lot of, people fucking laughed, and I was just like, Jesus, like, this is the kind of, I don't know, I get the whole, I do believe, in to some extent, when it comes down to, like, what's violence against women and what's not, if a woman's, like, an active participant, like when Harley Quinn is a member of the Suicide Squad, like, if she was to get hit by an enemy, that's, like, she's an active participant, so it's not. But, like, in that point in time, she's just underwater, like, unconscious, and then she's, like, not, and fucking just punches her in the face.
That's why it's funny, because it's because it's not what they wanted to go for.
I know, yeah, it's fun. I'm getting way off track here, but what was I even talking about? Film sucks. I don't even know. Like,
that's the best summary.
Yeah,
the film fucking sucked.
So the style, Guardians, cool sci-fi action movie with great visuals that you can actually see.
Yeah,
fight scenes you can actually see. Color. Yeah, well, color at all.
Yeah,
and, like, not just black as the night the whole way through the movie. Which Suicide Squad is. It's impossible. It's nearly impossible to see what's going on screen.
A big reason I recognized so much of the stuff is because they filmed it all in Toronto, and so much of it was where I used to, like, part of, like, walking routes or, like,
your old
romping,
stomping grounds.
Yeah, exactly. They filmed so much of it, and I recognized it because I knew what it was. If somebody didn't know any of that stuff, man, it just looks like a boring city with no detail because it was too dark. But I was noticing signs, and I'm like, you changed the letters over that sign, but I know precisely which corner on Yonge Street this is. Like, there used to be a Sobeys over there. All that stuff. Everybody else had no chance.
The other thing is, though, Guardians has an absolutely stomping soundtrack. Like, the whole,
They even tried to do the same thing.
So, yeah.
They strong-armed all those good songs in there.
Right. So Guardians understands, like, well, the point is that Peter Quill, taken from his home in the 70s or whatever it would have been, is now living in the future, or the 80s, I guess. What was it? It's 1980s? I don't know.
Probably.
It's fucking one decade or the other.
Yeah.
So he's got this tape that his mother gave him, and it is like his last connection to his mother now that he's in this other galaxy, but it's got just the best compilation that flows so well throughout the whole movie of these songs.
Yeah, because they took the time to pay attention.
Yeah, it's properly curated, and then it works. So with this, I feel like they said, you know what, we're going to have a kicking soundtrack, but let's just make sure we gotta have stuff that everyone's going to know and everyone's going to think is cool. So what do they do? The movie starts with that song that's like, I don't know what it's called, but it's like the ding 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 ding. It's in all the trailers. I don't know what it's called. So, and then you see like fucking them beating up Deadshot, and then Harley Quinn like licking the bars, like all the. There's a lot of shit in there that's like very sexually explicit or sexual, like
for no good reason.
Yeah, and like there was a family. We were sat like in the sort of second to back row, and there's a family sat in front of us. There's like two really young kids that probably would have enjoyed like a Marvel movie. But I'm just thinking to myself, like, I would see the mother like glance over at them, and I'm just thinking, yeah, I would fucking like, I would have read up on the film, but why would you, right? Like, it's a superhero thing.
Yeah.
Like, again, that's all that people see. So, I mean, fuck you for not knowing, but at the same time, it's like,
yeah.
Anyway, but the soundtrack makes no sense. We laugh because there's one of my favorite Kanye West songs in a scene with Will Smith.
Not just yours.
Yeah.
Oh, it's such a good song.
So, scene with Will Smith, the only actor of a minority in the movie.
Killer Croc was. Not that you could tell.
What is it? Is he African American?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm 99% sure. Yeah, I gotta go Google that because I said that out loud. But yeah, that and now suddenly the accent that he had seems a lot more racist.
Well, I don't. Yeah. All right, you gotta see about that. Let's have a look.
T-shirt vendor. No. What a terrible role to have in a movie. Oh, yeah, I'm the t-shirt vendor.
You're going too fast. Okay. Oh, it's okay. Yeah.
I'm not even going to try and pronounce that.
I can pronounce it. Where is his name?
Of course you can, because he's from the same country you are.
I lied. I can't pronounce that. So, okay. Will Smith, the only actor of a clear minority, because he's not covered in, like... They play fucking Black Skinhead by Kanye, which is an awesome song, but, like... Oh, it was just weird, and it was, like, you told me that scene was gonna happen.
Yeah.
So I'm sat there just, like, I'm ready. Like, I'm ready. And then I was just, it still baffled me. Like, like, what? And then he's just shooting the targets and stuff. Also, the CG is pretty bad in this movie, but the CG didn't look nearly as bad in any other scene as when that target practice thing is going on. And then it shows the targets with, like, the burning red holes in all of them. Honestly, and they just looked so superimposed. Like, that was the part that
I
really
wasn't
stood out.
looking at the screen at that point in time because I was just, like, losing my shit over the fact that they used that song.
Yeah.
Same as how I barely remember the Fassbender Assassin's Creed trailer because I Am a God was playing.
Yeah.
I was like, this is so out of touch.
It's like, oh, Kanye, let's bring... Oh,
he's edgy, right?
Yeah, you know that 2013 album he had? Fuck him, yeah, it's put out in all the films. So
They must be on. They must have been on sale.
it's Assassin's Creed Warner Brothers as well.
I don't know.
It's obviously Ubisoft, but I feel like it might be
Maybe, yeah.
Warner Brothers. And if that's the case, maybe they're just like, yeah, we've got a license to put any Kanye song in our movies. Let's fucking get as many as we can in there. So then, when they're getting ready to go, they play fucking Without Me by Eminem. And I'm not a huge Eminem fan at all. But that one was like, that was probably the most offensive, like the biggest offense to, like, I don't want to say it's like an offense to me, they put in the movie, but it's just like the biggest offense of the whole musical kerfuffle rigmarole was that song.
No, the biggest one was not using Ballroom Blitz for a comic-y fight scene.
True.
Because if you had Harley swinging the mallet and
that's the thing though.
Things like that.
Every one of the fight scenes, they tried to make it like this dark, serious thing. And that's the thing that I don't understand about the film at all. It doesn't have any comic like tone to it.
No.
It tries to be so serious. And yeah, I mean, I can go on and on about it, but it's just like, at the end of the day, like, I'm trying to think. The one part I did like I said to you, the effect that they use when the doctor that is like infected by the Enchantress has her hands on the table. She says Enchantress for the first time, and it shows like the black hand like come under and like flip.
That was really cool.
The effect looks really cool on screen, but that's probably the only part of the film that I was like, oh, that was alright, yeah. And also, yeah, the Batman.
Yeah.
And yeah, like literally it. I don't even know what else to say. It's so bad.
It's too bad because there was some pretty decent choreography as far as the fighting goes, but like it didn't. No.
That was going to be my last. But the final fight scene, like when all the sort of smoke storm, the fog goes into the room. There's that blue lightning shit in the background, and the Enchantress has like the embers coming off her. The like seeing the silhouettes of the fighters, and then like you can't really make out any details in their suits or their faces, but like you know who they are because they've been established at that point a little bit anyway.
Yeah.
At least their appearances. And there was one or two shots where I thought, oh, here we go, because the camera would be moving around, and I thought they were going to do some big montage of all of them just going in and trying to fight.
Yeah.
But it would just, every time, it's typical bullshit, like, bad comic book movie stuff, where they cut it every fucking time and don't let you see shit. Like, for the amount, like, I can rag on Civil War because, yeah, I think it's a lazy film, but I cannot deny that the final fight scene between Iron Man and Captain America, where it's literally just a still frame just slowly moving in and just them in the middle just punching the shit out of each other.
One of my favorites was, it was in Age of Ultron. It's like in the very beginning when they're charging into that one shot that has everybody just like jumping or running forward. That was so good.
It's one of those like, fuck yeah moments.
Yeah.
It just looks cool on screen. You see it all, it's very clearly defined, like you see everyone there. And in this, it was just like, I think, like, I always quote how, you know, Skyfall, there's that scene where they're in the building when he intercepts the guy who's going to snipe someone, and there's the fight scene against the other neon building, and you literally are just watching their silhouettes. It's dark, but the thing is, you can see every move they make because
they went another way to make sure it was perfectly clear.
Yeah, like it's very well defined, and that's what I think makes a good fight scene is like not so much like the action and the choreography for sure, but you have to be able to see what's happening too. Like otherwise, it's just flashing and shaking, and it doesn't like you're like oh all right, like it doesn't feel like those hits land. Like when you get to actually see it and like it's done right, it's like oh yeah, I feel it in this fight. So. That is, that's Suicide Squad. Bad film. I wouldn't say go see it, but if you desperately want to, do.
If you want to see a not quite hero film, Guardians of the Galaxy was just added to Netflix.
Yeah, it was actually, yeah. And there's a bunch of stuff just added to Netflix. That's good. Or you could go watch all 3 seasons of BoJack Horseman. That show is really good. Duncan,
Yeah.
we've wasted about half an hour talking about Suicide Squad. Let's move on to something a little more pertinent, shall we?
Yeah.
No Man's Sky. What a game. So, as of about an hour ago, I've played about 10 hours of it. I played too much today.
That's what you need to do.
Yeah,
That's what this is about.
Started last night, and I was up till like 5 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I look like shit. I did, yeah.
You gotta get that link in.
I
Stay up until 5 a.m., ladies, and still be here to record.
Oh, you. The term is fit as a fiddle, or fit as a fiddler. I'm not sure. Spry.
Fit as a fiddler sounds too much like, yeah.
Not what I meant. That's like a Ricky Gervais level, like off David Brent line. Oh, God, I'm ashamed of myself.
You're wishing that was booze now.
Oh, it is, mate.
But isn't that iced tea?
Yeah, it's iced tea.
You fucking liar.
They know that now. Thanks. No Man's Sky.
Yeah. I really wish I had the means to play it right now.
Yeah. So, my initial impressions, outstandingly positive. Part of me thinks it's just what I needed for a game. The last week, we didn't really say what we've been playing. I obviously played Abzu, but I've been playing a lot of Overwatch again, which is nice. But I've just desperately wanted a game that not only can I commit time to, because there's games I can't do that with. Like, I could do that with Destiny if I wanted to. But a game that, when I actually make progress, it's like, oh my god, yes. Like, that is sweet. Like, I spent most of my, 3 hours this morning putting together components to get my hyperdrive and my starship up and running again, so I could make a jump to another galaxy. And it was one of the best feelings, like when I finally got the last ingredient, and I was like, now I just have to farm for some iron mineral, and I'm good. Like, that's it, I'm ready. And I can finally get off this rock and just go, and that, I don't even really know how to start with it. Like I said, not what I was expecting, was what I was expecting. Far more of a survival game from all the different kind of metrics that it requires, especially a lot with the ship. Like, you've got to constantly be refueling. Your, life support system on each planet, depending on the climate, will decrease faster, so you have to constantly keep that in mind. Your weapon just decreases in charge, so you're recharging all the time. The game really wants you... The game, a lot of people have asked me, what are you doing in the game? They're like, before this game's come out, and I've said, well, they haven't spoken about the story, it's just reaching the center of the universe. That's why, it's because the story is yours to make. And it's not, that's tacky, and it's said a lot because people defend Minecraft and stuff like that by saying...
There's no story there.
Well, set your own goals and do this sort of thing. But in No Man's Sky, it's about this journey that you're forging. So reaching the center of the galaxy, or the center of the universe, is the goal. But the thing is, it's like, you're going to, along the way, you're going to have a vastly different experience for everyone. To think that person put on Reddit that they finished the game in 30 hours, I've played the game for a fucking third of that time. And I've been to maybe 10 planets.
But didn't it come out that the person was just, exploiting
the
currency?
Yeah. They exploited a system, but, the fact that they would try and say, yeah, this game's a disappointment because it's $80 and I... 60 wherever you're living. Hello, cat. And it's this amount of money, and I played it for 30 hours. Oh, yeah, and reached the center, and I'm done. And it's yeah, but what did you actually do? Anything you were supposed to do in the game? 'Cause I don't know. For me, like I said to you, really surprised with how deep the learning mechanics are, I guess.
Yeah.
I played for like an hour and a half last night, and then a friend of mine, we started at the same time, but then we got on Skype together and we kept playing. We were just talking about what we were seeing, and we were sending each other pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying, like, yeah, like in my galaxy, or my solar system I'm in right now, there's a race called the Gek, and they're like a bird creature thing, and I'm trying to learn them. And for me, it was this race called the Korvoks, and they're like a sort of a sentient, organic robot species. And then I'm going around these planets and going to these old temples and finding ruins and learning about this thing called the Korvakian convergence, where they all basically like disintegrated and just let themselves die so that their consciousnesses could become like one huge entity that would be like the wisest thing, and that's what gave birth to all the sentinels on the planets. And like,
that's so cool.
Like, I've learned more about this entire, that will be able to apply to the entire universe of No Man's Sky than I have like in 2 years of playing Destiny about the, you know, like the world. And that's just because it's like, you know, you want to put the time in, fantastic. You're going to reap so many benefits from putting this time in. And you know, you're going around learning languages and you're like scavenging for supplies and stuff. And the trade, like, there's a huge commerce system in the game where, you know, like certain planets will demand, again, certain races demand certain things more than others, and it will always tell you this is X percentage less or more than the galactic average. And that's a bunch of garbled kind of nonsense, really, but it's No Man's Sky. Really, really surprised with it.
One big thing that stood out for me was how much different like technology you discovered in like the 20 minutes that I was watching you play.
Yeah.
You discovered at least 3 different things in a 20-minute span. How much is there? If you can get that much.
Yeah.
That's insane.
So like I remember like the first time I left the my first planet, and it sort of tries to guide you towards the first space station. So you stop there, and then in the space station, I think it refuels everything for you, and then like you sit there, and then now that I had the key cards, you can access different areas, but at first you can't. And other ships would come and land in. I was like, oh, these are cool ships. Like, and so you go and talk to the pilots of those ships. Yeah. And then you realize, like, so you can own any ship you see. You just have to have the credits to buy it. And like, depending on what that guy is carrying or what he has for like style of ship, he'll make you an offer on it, or you try and make him an offer that he might not like. I just don't know how much stuff there is in the game, honestly. Like I said to you, I feel like it's got, and the comparison to Minecraft is not the best, but it's got this depth to it that feels, and like a sense of obscurity, which is very comparable to something like Minecraft or Dark Souls. And I know that's one extreme to the other, but the game doesn't really give you anything except for tips now and again to remind you, remember, you just picked up this thing and you have a recipe that you can now complete because you just picked up this thing. But apart from that, like, you know, when I was repairing the warp drive is the perfect example. Go in, the warp drive requires a warp cell. Okay, so I can make a warp cell. What do I need? You need 2 things. It's, you know, antimatter and some kind of fuel. Oh, I have the fuel, so what's the antimatter? Oh, antimatter, you need this and this to make. Okay, to make the thing you need to make that, you need to... And so you just go back down the ladder, and it's all about just going through those steps. And they have a pinning system, so you go in and you just pin the recipes, and you just go through. And but oddly enough, like, one of the cats being rebellious, one of the best experiences I had was, what I told you, is when I screwed up, and the planet I was on had these kind of like flying mountains. So I parked my ship on one, but then it was out of thruster fuel, so I couldn't take off again. So what I had to do was just kind of let myself fall off these mountains, drift down with my jetpack, and then I'm down. I can't get back up there, so I went around the planet, very quickly found the fuel that I would need to take off. So now I'm like, well, the only thing I can do is try and walk around the planet and try and find a space station so you can like summon your ship down. So I walked for about a good hour and a half, 2 hours, just around going around the planet, like towards the sun, and it was fantastic because I saw so much and took so much in. I ended up finding so many upgrades for my suit that I could do, and that was when I really started to get into the trade, because I realized that I was just picking stuff up because I was like, oh, I can break this, I'll break this, and then when you get to somewhere, it's like, oh, well, sell it, and you don't need it for anything right now, just get rid of it. It's so easy to find more. So, and then eventually I got there, and it really gave me an appreciation for, and the game wants you to walk too, like there's a lot of these things popping up, like I was talking about, the game wanting you to kind of, your own journey. These things pop up called journey milestones, where it essentially will say, like, you know, you've reached this milestone of the journey, you've walked this far, or you've encountered this many alien life forms, or you've warped to a different galaxy this many times, and it just kind of keeps stacking on top of each other to make it like a more in-depth experience. But no, it is it's one of those games that I read the other night as the embargo kind of broke. As I've been playing for like an hour, I guess, at that point. A lot of the early impressions from a lot of big publications were all over the place, and I think that it's like I just honestly wonder how many people are going to be deterred from this game or turned off because of similar experiences to what I had. Because when I started, I was on this fucking desolate, barren wasteland planet, and I had to walk for miles. Like, I didn't actually get off my planet for ages. Like, it was like almost an hour that I was walking around, when I was in a party with a friend earlier who literally just downloaded it, and he was off his planet in like 10 minutes. I was just like, there's these different experiences that'll happen because of the procedural generation that I think that could work against it for people who just don't have the patience to want to.
I feel like it's a thing that you know you're getting yourself into, though.
Yeah.
For the most part, at least.
Yeah. Hopefully. But I feel like, again, this game, I wasn't expecting it to be a few different things, but for the most part, I knew what it was. It's going to be like Sean Murray, director of the game, and like co-founder of Hello Games, says, oh, I wanted to make a chill sci-fi game. Like, that's his idea, because he wanted to make a game that, yeah, you can go and fight and do all these sorts of things in it, but if you want to, you land on a planet, like the planet I showed you when I was still playing when you got here. It's like, just really beautiful, just wandering around. There's very few hostile indigenous, like, wildlife animals. Like, there's a couple of like dinosaur-like things, but most of them are peaceful herbivores. So you're just walking around with them, and then just taking pictures of stuff, and just watching the sky, and then now and again get back in the ship and go for a little fly, and you'll see something and set down and just go for a walk around a lake, and it's like, it's just so tranquil. Like, there's something about it that, like, I don't know, like, I think about open world games, and like last week I think it was, we talked about Skyrim and how I love RPGs in the winter.
You got it now.
Yeah, the funny thing, like, Skyrim is one of those games, and like Witcher, same thing. Like, you notice something pretty and you just go and walk around a bit. But this game is an entire galaxy of things that I might like. I'm not going to see all of it, but it's an entire universe of these instances that I'll see. Just that one frame that looks so good. And I was sending pictures to my friend as we were Skyping last night, and you know, I crested a mountain at one point, and it looked like the mountain was like splitting, and like almost like it looked like broken glass, and all these bits were like fraying up into the air, and it just was like, what, like, how can it, like, people have, like, I don't know how it does this.
Yeah.
And they're going to add, as they go, they've already said they're going to add more variety. Like, the first update actually adds a little more variety and diversity to the way the planets generate. And so they'll actually change stuff as you go.
For free.
Yeah, which is never going to be any paid DLC. They're always going to add ships, content.
Haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah, they say, they apparently did in this update, though I haven't seen enough of it pre-patched to know, but they upgraded the graphics quite a bit, apparently, and upgraded draw distance. So apparently as they go, they're going to just keep trying to tinker away and polish the graphics and make them better. So
excellent.
Yeah, I mean, that's the fact that they have the support behind them to realize this game.
Yeah, that's a huge thing.
And I know that, like,
refreshing change.
A lot of people say it's not an independent game, and it's not because of Sony's support, but they're an independent studio, like, in the terms of size, absolutely.
Sony's basically just giving them money to realize their vision, aren't they?
Yeah, and providing them with the platform to develop it for. And at the end of the day, it's like like I was saying to you before, I think the article Polygon ran the other day with original concept art that was done back in 2010 or 2011 by Sean Murray and a couple of his sort of associates about how they wanted that was their vision, like for how they wanted it to look. And it is mental how close it is. Like they actually were. It's not often that I think people actually get to say, "Yeah, we made the game we wanted to make." Like, and
David Ayer just made the movie he wanted to make.
Yeah, yeah. So, in short, that is No Man's Sky. It is a confusing, very hard to explain thing, but I think I honestly think it might be one of the best games to come out in a while. I'm really excited to play more of it. So
I just really hope it doesn't drag later on. But
yeah, I think what's going to happen, right? And this is what I said to you, not to dwell, because I am going to move on. But for my first Galaxy, there was a couple of really shitty planets, but I went around a bit. Went to a nice planet, then I jumped to another galaxy which was largely like kind of gross. So that was where I was really struggling to get the hyperdrive fixed. Got it fixed there, but then I was like, okay, let's go a big jump. So I jumped to his other place, and then it was a completely different species, and it was the climates in these planets were terrible. They were all like rock and gross and deserty, and I was like, well, now I feel like I feel like I'm not going to be able to even go back. Like, so I managed to just kind of trace my way back, find my way to where I started, and then instead of going to those two, I went to one near it, and that's where I was when you saw me there. Like, I want to stay in the same region because I'm learning about the Korvax, and you're gonna hear a siren in a second, I think.
Take me now.
It's an ambulance.
Take me now.
Wow. I don't even know what to say to that.
Me neither.
Was that like
Me neither.
a seizure?
It was an attempt, but I didn't want to do it distastefully. I guess you
God,
could
no,
call
that
it
wasn't distasteful.
a tasteful seizure impression.
I can't restart this now.
No.
So, but then I was like, I want to learn about this species and I want to gain like full understanding. And the way that the trophy system works in the game, you can basically get the platinum for just learning about one entire species. So I feel like I could basically finish the game by just learning about these guys and then go out. Because right now I'm actually really invested in the story of this species, but then I will reach out to other parts of the world, the galaxy, learn about someone new. It's just that for the right now, I'm like, I really want to learn about these people.
You're going to be able to do that so many times,
too,
which is just an incredible idea.
Yeah, so
it's nice to see that so far the execution is working quite well.
Yeah, I think it's excellent. Moving on though. Do we want to just wait on that for now? So I'm just looking at the time.
Yeah. We'll be able to we want to focus on Gamescom next week, right? So.
Is that?
Yeah.
Oh God! And then the following week will be Gamescom. Yeah. Well, we can bring that up just briefly. We can bring it up briefly now. French publication. Word comes by way of them saying that the PlayStation 4K, PlayStation 4 Neo, allegedly will be announced at a press event that Sony's holding in New York City on the 7th of September this year. Realistically, I mean, this is the same thing as the whole discussion of where was the Neo at E3? Like, I just don't care. My PlayStation's working fine. Yeah, if it breaks, I'll get an updated one, if it ever stops working, but there's, like, I just don't... I see why they haven't said anything yet. If that's the argument, wait as long as you can, because now you've got games like No Man's Sky coming out, and then moving into September... You're going to have Destiny expansions, and there's going to be Last Guardian in October. There's going to be games in October that people might be like, oh, you know what? Okay, I'll get it now in the back to school sale, and then like 2 days later they announce this because after this is announced, no one's gonna want the old one.
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna come out like a month after at most.
At most,
it has to be that.
Same with the Xbox One S.
Well, especially if they're announcing it in September. Like the amount of stuff that's going to come out back to back. It might actually, maybe we see it come out at the same time as Rise of Iron. That's extraordinarily close. It would also undercut Nintendo, who is allegedly doing something September 12th.
Month later, the 11th, is PlayStation VR. So that to me,
shit, right there. Yeah.
So it, like
that's
that,
the one.
that is the way because they announced the PlayStation VR standalone, then they announced the PlayStation VR, the big bundle. It's like $700 in Canada, but it comes with like everything you need, games and the lot. And then I feel like they dropped the bombshell, which is like theoretically, like say $8.99. Doesn't come with the full bundle, but it gets you everything you need, controller, PSVR, and the new Neo in one. And that's like the ultimate.
Which would be probably the one that I do. Quite realistically, because I want the VR, because I want to play around with it. It looks really cool.
I would bum it off you.
It doesn't make any sense for me to buy a PlayStation right now.
No.
No Man's Sky is already out. Which, the fact that the Neo is even a thing is why I'm not playing No Man's Sky right now and ignoring everything around me. So, we'll see, but...
Yeah. But, I mean, that's one of those things that is... We'll see, but one last thing that I will bring up, because the thing is, waiting on this one could mean we're out of the loop and we've missed our chance to say anything about it. I don't have the exact quote here, and I should in case I'm saying it wrong. 2K announced earlier this week, in fact, maybe late last week it would have been, Rockstar have an imminent announcement about a big project. Fucking God, Duncan.
Red Dead Redemption, number 2, Red Dead Revolution. Oh,
It'd be number 3.
Sorry.
But all the same, Red Dead Revolution I think has been the title in the works. Yeah. But if this is the time, I think what they know now, GTA 5, fucking astronomically successful game, but they announced that 2 years before it came out, and then a year again. Wait, was it? No, it was in the summer because it was supposed to come out in April of 2013, but they pushed it to September. In May of 2013, in order to kind of quell the fans, they started releasing all those trailers for it, and they were talking about all the heists and everything, and it was months and months of build-up. Game comes out, fucking heists weren't in it, and heists weren't in it until it came out on the PS4 a year later. And it was like, to me, like, it was still a fantastic game, and I didn't care. But at the same time, there's a lot of people that consider it as big as a flop of, like, you know, it's like Destiny, and I'm just like, what? Like, it doesn't, like, that doesn't matter to me, and it shouldn't matter to anyone, really, because it was quality, and they keep providing quality content, and it's still a great game to go back to. But I think they've realized from Fallout success that we're fucking Rockstar. Like, if someone either A, hasn't played Red Dead, like, it'll be this way. Okay, September or October come around, oh yeah, Red Dead Redemption 3 or Red Dead, whatever it's going to be called, comes out. Red Dead 3 comes out next month. And it's going to go, oh my god, it's the next Red Dead game, I'm getting it. Or, oh my god, I didn't play that game, but I played GTA 5 and it's the same team and they're making a Western, holy shit.
Exactly.
So, and then they're going to have, obviously, all the proponents from GTA Online in Red Dead Online.
Already built, but hopefully with better server connectivity.
Yeah. Right, like, they only got to worry about horses in this one, so they don't have to worry about planes. It's got to work, right? Yeah. So, that, I'm sure that is going to be a thing. But I'm really excited for that. Like, part of me thinks, like, man, they would be the sneakiest fuckers of all time if they still managed to squeeze that in 2016. Because
the only thing I can think it might be is like this massive content drop for GTA Online. The only other option.
Right.
The only other thing
and that would tie into the thing going around a while ago. Some artist that I guess had some connection to Rockstar put examples of their work in an online portfolio on their LinkedIn page, and it was renders, in-game renders of Liberty City, but in GTA 5's engine. And people went into GTA 4 and found the same screens and put them side by side, and it was like, yeah, this is very clearly a different engine completely. So a lot of people were predicting, they've already been saying, yeah, we're not going to support GTA Online forever because, you know, we got to have another game and you can't just keep supporting this one.
Yeah.
I said to my friend we were playing the other night, said, I can actually see them saying, okay, this is it.
Yeah.
The last content drop for GTA 5 comes this month, and you're getting fucking Liberty City. And then you're going to have a bunch of shit to do in it, but here's the Liberty City in its entirety that you can just go to as a separate map. I mean, it's a free DLC.
Insane. Well, they don't need to make any more money.
No, they're already making like the money off they make like some billions amounts of dollars off the microtransactions. So
insane.
Yeah, so and then the same time they announced Red Dead, saying
be the coolest.
You get this brand new DLC for 2 months leading up to a new game that's coming out in the fall, and then and we're still the servers aren't gonna close. It's not like it's just gonna cease to exist, but they're just not gonna support it.
Yeah.
And so I think that would be really cool because Liberty City is a fantastic map, especially GTA 4's version. Really cool. And so to get to explore that in GTA 5 gameplay would be really great. So yeah,
especially with a ton more heists. I haven't even done any of the online heists, but
yeah,
you throw a bunch of more at us.
Yeah. Well, even if it's just something on the table just clicked and it made me jump. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I really I'm curious to see what if that's going to be true. I would be happy with that because I am dabbling back into Grand Theft Auto online now and again just to do some races and stuff. But that is about all we have time for because we were really trying to keep it under an hour nowadays. Yeah. What is happening this week for you?
I need to finish Life is Strange. That's my goal for the week.
Yes, you do. I'm going to be playing No Man's Sky.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bound comes out next week. We were getting a little sloppy, but that's fine. Because it's not structured really.
No.
We just tried to have some kind of cohesive structure, but we're going to talk about the things coming out the following week. But
No Man's Sky kind of overwhelmed us.
Yeah, No Man's Sky is the one thing that you should be playing. So if you have a PS4 or a PC, so that's there. If you have a PS4, Bound is the last game in the summer lineup of the 4-week plan. They call it the Play 2016. So it's still discounted by $5. So you should get it now because it looks really good.
It does look really good.
And
it's a beautiful looking game.
Every time I see anything to do with that game, I get really pumped. It's cool looking. So that's coming out. Apart from that, there's really not a lot I can think about. Oh, and since we recorded last, Jack was right. Inside, fucking August. What is it? August 28th, I think it is.
28th sounds right. Yeah, right there.
Yeah,
nail on the head. That's 2 for 2 with that game.
I didn't actually try to do that, but there we go. Yeah, Inside is coming to PS4 this month, so you're going to be able to play it if you haven't yet, which you should because it's probably one of the best games of 2016. And on that bombshell, we'll get out of here before it hits an hour. So you've got 55 seconds to say goodbye.
Bye. No, thanks for checking us out, as always. Appreciate everything. There'll be links to Twitter, Twitch, all that stuff in the description. So feel free to check us out, like us, tell us what you think we should do better. We'll go from there.
Yeah. Thank you guys for tuning in. I am going to be streaming a whole lot more No Man's Sky this week. as things kind of progress. And I mean, that's what everyone's doing. But obviously, if you want to check us out doing it, that would be fun for everyone.